NTIA finally releases updated rules for BEAD. The FCC temporarily without a quorum as Commissioner Symington unexpectedly resigns. Kansas set to break ground on a middle-mile network. Rogue communications devices discovered in Chinese solar panels pose a threat to U.S. networks and the power grid. And ChatGPT reaching new heights of popularity. Those stories and more on This Week in the Broadband universe. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Craig Corbin. The much-anticipated and long-awaited BEAD guidance was released Friday afternoon. Fiber no longer the preferred method of delivery. New scoring criteria for selection of grant recipients and previously approved final proposals from Louisiana, Nevada, and Delaware have been rescinded. States that have already selected or are currently selecting awardees will have to conduct at least one additional sub-grantee selection round for each BEAD-eligible location. In addition, states that went through a pre-qualification process must accept additional applications for pre-qualification. The window for resubmitting final proposals, 90 days. NTIA has indicated a review of all new proposals within an additional 90-day period. Much more to come on this updated BEAD guidance. In order for the Federal Communications Commission to conduct business, 3 commissioners are required for a quorum. That no longer exists with the surprise resignation of Republican Nathan Symington. The agency is left with only 2 commissioners, Chairman Brendan Carr and Democrat Anna Gomez. Symington's term was scheduled to end at the end of 2025, and his sudden departure throws the FCC into a holding pattern until Olivia Trustee's nomination is voted on by the Senate. Trustee was confirmed by the Senate Commerce Committee back in April. In other news, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly announced plans this week to officially break ground on the $43 million Free State Middle Mile Network. The project will be funded by a federal NTIA grant and will provide high-speed internet infrastructure for residents and businesses statewide. The groundbreaking ceremony will take place June 18th on the campus of Emporia State University. Told you last week about the proposed 10-year moratorium on AI regulation by states. That was part of the U.S. House of Representatives budget bill. Now, Ted Cruz, chairman of the Senate Commerce Committee, wants to go even further by submitting a budget reconciliation bill that would place the state AI regulation moratorium as a condition of receiving BEAD allocations. EchoStar has not made a $326 million interest payment. That was due on May the 30th, telling the Securities and Exchange Commission that because of uncertainty over its 2 gigahertz band spectrum rights, the company just elected not to make the interest payment. The interest part of its 10.75% secured notes due in 2029. EchoStar has a 30-day grace period to make the payment before it becomes an event of default. Undocumented communication devices, including cellular radios, have been discovered inside Chinese-made solar power inverters deployed across the United States within the past year. According to a report by Reuters, a former NSA intelligence analyst confirmed that rogue power inverters, which connect solar panels to electric grids, contain undocumented communications channels which could circumvent firewalls remotely, a capability which could result in cyber attacks on domestic communications networks and power grids. Utopia Fiber has announced completion of the Bountiful Fiber Network nearly a year ahead of schedule. The partnership with Bountiful City, Utah, aims to provide fiber internet to every address in the city within the next 3 years. The network is capable of providing gigabit and multi-gigabit internet speeds to a total of 16,500 homes and businesses. Bountiful City made the decision to build its own fiber network after numerous complaints and unmet promises from existing providers. Amazon will invest $10 billion to expand data centers in North Carolina, a move seen as one of the largest in state history. AI and cloud computing technologies will be supported by the data center infrastructure expansion, which is expected to create 500 new highly skilled jobs while supporting thousands of other jobs in the AWS data center supply chain. The company said it's generative AI driving increased demand for advanced cloud infrastructure and computing power. And on the topic of generative AI, a new study shows that the Gen AI software market will reach $86 billion within the next 4 years. Research by S&P Global Market Intelligence projects that growth will be at a 40% clip. It'll be up from $16 billion last year. Code generation, the fastest growing segment, with a compound annual growth rate of 53%. The U.S. remains the largest market for generative AI. And finally, we all know how popular the free online encyclopedia Wikipedia is. Well, now ChatGPT officially clocking more site visits than Wikipedia in the U.S. According to SimilarWeb, ChatGPT traffic hit a record high in April, up 14% from March, with 780 million U.S. site visits. And while ChatGPT has one-upped Wikipedia, there's still a ways to go before getting past Google. That clocked 16 billion visits in the month. Now, as far as ChatGPT, 57.2 million Americans went to chatgpt.com with 14 visits on average. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on This Week in the Broadband Universe.